I'm Nicole Crane, and today I'm going to be talking about Courtesan Queen. And I'm going to give people just a minute to log on. I'm coming on a few minutes late here, and I'm going to pull the live stream up on my phone so that I can see comments. For some reason, I can't see them on my laptop. Cool. And then I'm going to get my notes switched up. Perfect. Cool. So I'm going to jump right in because I know that this might be a longer webinar than I meant for it to be originally. And I'm actually going to guide you through a step-by-step practice about halfway through, so in about 20 minutes or so. Hi, Wen! Thanks for joining me live. Let's see, so I'm going to guide you through a practice in about 20 minutes, so if you can be in a comfortable place where you're safe to have a little bit of privacy. It'll only be like about 5 minutes, but I want to give you an experience of some of the more structured practices that I'm going to guide you through in Courtesan Queen. Okay, perfect. So here I am. Okay, awesome. So thank you so much for joining me live. Perfect. So I'm going to dive a little bit into my origin story. So when I was 16 or 17, I went to see Limp Bizkit. I had seen them at the Warped Tour, and I saw Wes, the bassist, Wes Borland, who's kind of a weird guy. Like, the reason I fell in love with him was because he was wearing, like, snow camo shorts and a corset at, like, an outdoor festival, and I was like, oh my god, this guy looks like Marilyn Manson. He's a total freak. I'm in love with him. Who are these guys? So fast forward a little bit of time, I was like a mega fan. I had their album, and it was the Ladies Night in Cambodia tour. And so they played Faith, their cover of George Michael's song, right? Which was like their big radio hit at the time. And they like pulled all these ladies onto the stage. So like, I think it was like Fred Durst like pointing out the girls that he wanted the security guards to like put up on the stage, and I kept like crowd surfing up to the front and like having these guys like hoist me over the security fence and like reaching my hands up like pick me, and I kept getting cleared away by the security guys. And so like finally I was just like screaming at the band like fuck you don't care about your real fans, and I was like really upset. So that was like my starting point, right? So I'm like heading back to my car after the concert, and like my hair was like plastered to my forehead and my skull with sweat, and like my eyeliner was like down to here. I had like scary raccoon face, right? So in my teenage insecurity, I was like, oh, well, obviously that's, of course, why I didn't get picked. Like, I look like a fucking mess. And to be fair, like, maybe they could tell that I was underage and they didn't want, like, little girls on the stage. But it just kind of emblazoned this idea into my mind of what men of that caliber were looking for. So, no doubt it kind of shaped the ways that I kind of shifted myself in my seductress archetypes that I created for myself, or my seductive personas that I kind of created both for work and for play later on in my life. But I just wanted to give you an idea that like that's where I started from. So if you're in a place where you feel like you're exuding this like pick me energy and you're not getting the things that you want, you're not the girl that's like grinding on the bassist or whatever. And to be fair, Wes Borland is a really nice guy. I met him later. He's very short and he's very married, so I did not ever get to enact that fantasy, but he's a really nice guy and he's super cool and a very talented artist to this day. But and I don't think that he had any girls grinding on him also. So, I mean, it was just a fantasy, of course, but you know, I want to encourage you to tap into these really passionate, really fiery, really deep desires and embrace those and own those and claim those and vocalize those. So even though Courtesan Queen is technically a playful, seductive course, we also tap into both acknowledging and vocalizing our desires as a form of practicing holding the energy of receiving what you want, but also creating a space and also creating clear action steps towards moving towards achieving that goal. So it's both feminine in that we're opening space to receive, but there's also a masculine element of active seeking and creating these circumstances under which our goals can be achieved. So, and then I want to talk about the transition. So, Limp Bizkit, Ladies Night in Cambodia tour, that was the beginning, right? The middle, I actually fucked a bunch of rock stars. I got into that a little bit in my previous webinar. It's on YouTube. There's a link in my bio where you can watch that if you want more of the details about like where I'm actually qualified as a star fucker, exactly who I hooked up with and how and when and such. I don't name names because a lot of these guys are really happy now and I wouldn't want to destroy that. Um, we had what we had at a certain point in time and now it's over, and I really love what I learned from those experiences, and I don't have to continue them or recreate them with the same people to be able to have value in that. So and then kind of more towards the middle, fast forward to me getting kisses blown to me by the headliner of a show and having to pretend like I didn't know what was going on or that I didn't see him, or just like waving behind my boyfriend's back because I didn't want to get in trouble. I was in a really fucked up relationship where I wasn't fully allowed to be myself. And it, even though my boyfriend at the time was encouraging me to get up on stage with all the hot girls for Lords of Acid, I didn't feel safe doing that because I felt like if I got up there and I made a spectacle and I was like super hot and I got attention from one of the guys in the band, that my boyfriend would freak the fuck out and that I would get in trouble later and be punished for that. So, and then I want to fast forward many tens of thousands of men begging me to fuck them later. I had all this experience in the sex industry where I was validated over and over and over again that I was desirable, that I was sexy, that I was high value, that my time and attention was so valuable to people that they were literally willing to pay tons of money for my time and attention. So last year, I actually got to see Lords of Acid again, and this time I was dating someone who genuinely was like so excited for me to get up on the stage. I was like, no, no, no. And they were like, no, you have to go. And I ended up having the lead singer like grinding her ass on me and like pretending to slap her ass. I didn't have a chance to like ask her if that was okay, so I was just like pretending instead of actually doing it. It was very like Betty Page cheesecake. But then she like kissed me on the mouth, and my guy was like filming the whole thing. He like showed me the video later and he was like screaming, "That's my girl!" So I just want to share that like despite having all of these experiences, my own personal pinnacle was twofold. It was both being supported in having these experiences that were really fun for me and like very sensational and very public. The only reason that I name names in that case is because it was like so public and a lot of people in my circles saw that. And there is proof of it, you know. So it wasn't, it's not going to destroy her life if I say that that happened, you know. And it was very intentional and very public. And all for show, you know, it was just for fun. But I also want to share that the thing that meant the most to me was having a relationship where I felt safe to be myself and where I felt like I wasn't going to get punished later for having this experience, and I was actually celebrated. So not only do I teach you how to uplevel your seduction in Courtesan Queen, but I also create an environment of sisterhood and of community where you are going to be celebrated for expressing your slut side. We're going to celebrate your successes. We're going to celebrate any progress that you make towards your goals. And we're really just going to relish and cherish these parts of you that you might have had to kind of like shove in the closet or hide or bury. So it's a very healing experience in that regard as well. Um, so I'm going to move on to a little bit about some of the places where you might be coming from. So a lot of the women that I've talked to over the years in doing sex, love, and relationship coaching have expressed this feeling of stuckness. So coaching won't help, being more seductive and glamorous won't help. I can't ask for the things that I want. I can't have the lovers that I want. I don't have anywhere to meet anyone. Like for me, I'm struggling with that a little bit as well because it's like I don't really go out these days. I'm pretty home centered. And so I just want to say that this isn't your fault and that society creates this pick me energy, right? To make us feel like insecure so that they can prey on us. And I know that this is kind of ironic because I'm literally going to talk about something at the end of this webinar that costs you money. But I'm going to give you an experience for free before that happens with no strings attached. So I want you to be able to see the value in what I'm asking you to invest in. But going back to the ills of society, we're taught from an early age that asking for anything, even super small, is like needy, and that like men don't like needy women, and that this applies to even our basic needs for security, for taking care of our bodies, and prioritizing our own mental health. So I'm here to say that sacrifice is not sexy. Being small and invisible is not sexy. Taking up space, using your voice, vocalizing your passion, your desire, your dreams, the things that get you really excited, being your weird, bad, taboo self with all your natural sense, your interesting preferences and like OCD micromanagement things, and your super hot non-negotiable boundaries is actually what makes you sexy, what makes you full of life, what fills your pussy with pleasure and turn on, and makes you a magnetic, irresistible seductress. So even if you tune out after I said that, even if you don't sign up for Courtesan Queen, or you never catch another one of my live streams, knowing and embodying that knowledge will get you really far in life. And I just want you to take that away from this webinar. If you don't take anything else away, just remember that having a voice, using it, and embodying your passion is what makes you super sexy, super irresistible, super confident, and just really magnetizes not only lovers, but all sorts of opportunities towards you. I've lived that, I teach that, I've seen it in my students, and it's just really, it gets to be really fun and playful. So I'm not going to talk too much about mindset today, but the last time I ran this program, I was focusing on invoking the inner masculine divine as bringing in like the complementary masculine element. This time, I'm shifting things a little bit, and we're gonna use a very masculine flavored. Sorry, there's a little light bulb that popped up that said new tip. I'm like, what does that mean? I think it just means like how to use Facebook. Sorry. I'm like squirrel. So this time I'm going to focus on a masculine flavored mindset training. I'm calling it the Sexy Brain Gym. Oh, thank you, Stacy. You're beautiful too. So I'm calling it the Sexy Brain Gym because it's a practice. So it's kind of like a workout where it's going to be uncomfortable at first. It's not going to make you sore, but there's going to be a little bit of discomfort as you make these shifts. But with repetition and with practice, it's going to become second nature, and it really does program your mind to see the world in a new way, to see yourself in a new way, and to give you these empowering tools that are not only things that you actively use and think about, but it's going to become a subconscious part of your makeup, and it's going to become a part of who you are, how you think, and how you move through the world. So I think that it's so important to include something like that, because when I'm encouraging you to get into this sensual, seductive, very feminine expression of going for what you want, I think that it's also really healthy to create this structure or this container to hold that sometimes chaotic, sometimes emotional, sometimes explosive feminine expression. Creating that masculine energy creates the form and creates the container that holds all of that gorgeous, creative, rich, fertile energy, and it gives it somewhere to be safe, and it gives it a foundation to rest within. And so I think that by creating that inside of yourself, it's really healthy for women like myself, where we don't necessarily have like the masculine physical element of like having a boyfriend or a husband in our lives. And so by creating a way for us to like use that inside of ourselves and create that inside of ourselves, it really allows us to very safely and very solidly up level. So I just wanted to touch on that a little bit today. I'll get into the specifics of that in tomorrow's webinar at 6 p.m. Mountain Time here on my Facebook page. And so I'm going to dive back into a little bit of the backstory behind some of this stuff. So I'm going to get woo for a second. And you know how 2020 is kind of like the parallel universe from the show, the OA, where everything is like a slightly shittier version of the dimension that you are used to and that you came from? Well, the structures that I'm going to introduce you to in Courtesan Queen are kind of like the portal to a better dimension. So at least that's kind of like what it feels like. So if you're not really like a sci-fi or like metaphysical nerd like I am, that might not make sense, but hopefully you have something to compare that to. So you can have all the same characters, like maybe you're married, maybe you're already in a relationship, or you have roommates that are part of this problem that you're currently experiencing, or part of this stuckness that you find yourself in, right? So I just want you to picture for a moment, like, what if going through this portal could create a reality where all these same characters were energetically conspiring with you and the entire universe to help you be successful, to help you be well fucked, to help you be happy. And I'm going to give you the first piece of that equation tonight. So, before we jump into the practice, to give you about 3 to 5 minutes to kind of get set up, if you want to go to a space that is quiet, where you can close the door, where you can either sit or lie down, and have a place where you can focus for just another 3 to 5 minutes, I'm just going to kind of tell you what the benefit of this is, or the outcome, so that you can get a little bit more emotionally invested. So I know that you want to fuck rock stars and hot people, or whatever that looks like for you. Maybe your kink is like, I don't know, venture capitalists, or like young entrepreneurs, or movie stars, or whatever. For me, it's rock stars. I love artists. I love weird, hot, confident people. So I find that a lot in rock stars. And I know that you want to show up more glamorously, more sensually, more seductively, and as a more sexual version of your current self. And I'm an expert at all of that. Through 16 years in the sex industry, I learned a lot of tips and tricks. But honestly, it's just who I am as a person now. Like when I go out into public, people notice me, people want to help me, people want my attention. So I'm going to show you the technical skill building part of that in Courtesan Queen. But I'm also going to coach you through the sexy brain gym to help you get your mindset in the correct position to receive all of that attention that you're going to attract. And through learning all those sex tips and the makeup tricks and the floor moves that I'm going to teach you, you're going to have a physical, embodied experience of being a sexual goddess. So, and a seduction queen, which is really the key to getting what you want in the bedroom, in the nightclub, and ultimately in the boardroom as well. So, venture capitalists. I know. I was just trying to think of an example. I'm like, I don't know what hot, powerful. I mean, I guess CEOs, but like, I don't really like CEOs. I think venture capitalists are so much hotter. But I'm going to empower you to ask for the things that only asking women receive. So some examples could be authority, respect, getting raises, relationship titles, crazy sex positions, whatever it is that you're after, right? So Maybe you'll get lucky and you'll meet a sexy psychic who actually can read your mind. But at the end of the day, like, why waste your good boob years waiting for that? I think that you should go out and get what you deserve, what you desire, and what you decide to have for yourself. And I'm going to teach you how to do that step by step. All right, so here's where I show you the weird little dance that opens the portal, to go back to our OA analogy. Oop. And I like to Oh, well, just for framework, really quick. So, like on the show, The OA, you need to be able to picture the dimension that you're headed towards. So, that's what I'm going to take you through right now. So, I'm just going to give you 30 seconds to a minute to let you get into a safe, quiet place. Don't do this if you're driving. You can come back to the replay later. It looks like we're at about 20 minutes in, so just to know where to come back to in the recording. And I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. And take a few deep breaths. And once you're settled, I want you to create with all 5 senses what it looks like to be successful with a goal. So if it's in seduction, that could be being with your lover. It could be them approaching you in the bar and talking to you. It could be making love to them. If your goal is more career oriented, it could be being celebrated at an awards show. It could be getting your first big paycheck and opening your laptop to see that in your bank account. Whatever that looks like, I want you to activate all 5 senses. And so if you realized this goal, I want you to tap into what you would see that lets you know that you got this desire. And if you're in a place where you can speak that out loud, that solidifies that. And I want you to speak out loud what you touch or what you feel in this moment. And now tapping into what you hear. And in this moment, what do you taste? And now speaking out loud or just really getting a clear sense of what do you smell? And now that all 5 senses are fully fleshed out, I want you to create a sense of body memory. So, kind of like when you're shooting hoops and you shoot the perfect shot, really lock into your body the sensations that you're feeling. And I'd like to invite you to take a deep breath to the center of that pleasure, really breathing into that spot. And on the exhale, feel that pleasure spreading throughout your body. And on your next inhale, breathing into the center of that pleasure. And as you exhale, feeling it spread into every cell, into every part of your body, allowing you to swim in pleasure and the feeling of success of having exactly what you want. And once again, just kind of locking into your body memory, but also into your mind, the feeling of having this. And when you're ready, I'm going to count back from 5 to 1. 5, wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes. 4, if you need to adjust your neck, kind of moving it around a little bit. 3, returning your breathing to normal. 2, starting to sense the room around you. And 1, opening your eyes, feeling refreshed, energized, and centered back in the room, safe and whole inside your body. And I'm not going to go too deeply today into why that's so successful. I'll touch on that briefly, but I just want to let you know before you lose touch with that sensation in your body that you created all of that sensation using your mind, using your imagination. And I just want to remind you that you can tap into that at any point. You can create those high vibration sensations inside of your body, and you can tap into that pleasure and that success and that yumminess and that pleasure. I think I said pleasure twice, but at any point, because that doesn't come from someone outside of you. That doesn't come from a lover. That doesn't come from someone else. That came from you. So I just want to point out that for that reason, that yumminess is accessible to you at any time, that you can create just 3 to 5 minutes to tap into pleasure and to prioritize pleasure in your life. And sometimes I feel like I need an intellectual reason of like why something works or why it's important. So in case you're one of those types of people, I just want to tell you that this is one of the major tools of coaching, creating a 5 senses reality of what being successful looks like. In mainstream coaching, it's because practice makes perfect. Your mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. So by having that success and holding that energy inside of your body, not only does it take away the fear of the unknown from that situation, but it also helps you practice living that. So if you have the opportunity to go for it, not only is it not going to be scary because you're like, I don't know what that feels like. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't feel like I'm going to be safe. Instead, you can tap into that memory, even though it's not real, and say, oh my God, I lived through that. I lived through fucking a rock star. I lived through getting a raise. Nobody hated me. They didn't tie me to a post and publicly stone me. Like, it's safe, it's normal, and it's something that I'm used to because I practiced it so many times. But it also, and this is something that I focus on a lot in Courtesan Queen, it creates a baseline of the amount of energy that you can hold in your body. So even though people tend to do this a lot, I'm going to take you like 6 steps further throughout the next 8 weeks in Courtesan Queen. But the reason that this is so important is because sometimes when you're up leveling in the energy that you're holding, it kind of shakes apart everything in your life. And so I don't want every time that you up level for it to completely fucking level your entire life. Like that gets really fucking tedious. So by practicing holding this much energy and creating this space in your nervous system to hold that much energy, yes, of course things will get burned away, like in a Kali Ma kind of goddess of destruction, paving the path for things that are to come and clearing away the things that are no longer serving you. Yeah, there's still going to be some of that. There always is with change, of course. There's a little bit of sacrifice involved. But I want to help you focus on moving forward and going towards the things that you want and succeeding, instead of being afraid of like, oh, well, change comes with a cost, oh, I have to sacrifice to up level. I want you to experience over and over again that the things that are being sacrificed are no longer serving you anyway. So it's actually a release, and it's actually a blossoming. So yeah. I'm gonna go back to my notes. I just love talking about transformation. So perfect. So to kind of close out tonight, the cart for Courtesan Queen is open today. There was a hiccup with the website earlier, but I think that it's back online now. So let me know if there's any issue with this link, but all the dates are available on this website, and you can actually go in and sign up. I do want to let you know that you get an $88 discount until Friday, and you also get How to Flirt Like a Stripper for free until this Friday, September 25th. And the reason that that is so critical is because once you get past this audition, and your lover makes it past your own personal casting couch process, you're going to want these foundational pieces that I teach in How to Flirt Like a Stripper to keep things running smoothly on a long-term basis. So it's kind of weird that like the mini program that is like the prequel to Courtesan Queen is how to navigate normal long-term relationships, and Courtesan Queen is kind of like the up-leveled masterclass on how to seduce extraordinary people, not just ordinary people. But I think the reason that this is so important and why I want to include that as a free gift and early bird joining bonus is because once you get past the extraordinariness of your lover and they get past the extraordinariness of you, which typically lasts about 3 months for the honeymoon phase, right? You're going to need to know how to function as normal people, because once the newness wears off, once that new car smell is gone, you kind of need to know how to just relate to each other as individuals. So you will get to the point where that is critical, and so that's where How to Flirt Like a Stripper kind of comes in with those baseline foundational pieces of how to make something work long term. So I'm throwing that in as well until the 25th. And the price will go up to $888 starting on Saturday, and the doors close on September 30th. So sign up ASAP to get the discount and the early bird bonus of Flirt Like a Stripper. And one last bonus that I do want to mention today is if you sign up with a friend, you get a buy one, get one half off discount. So you can split it up so that oh, and this is like based on current prices. So if you guys both sign up before Friday, it would be $600 each, or you could, one of you could pay $800 and the other could pay $400. It's totally up to you. And then starting on Saturday, the prices go up for that as well. So it would just be half of the $888, or you could split that $888 and then $444 for the second person. So if you want to work out the details of that, just get in touch with me. And I want you to enjoy the pre-course work of How to Flirt Like a Stripper on me. So a lot of times you want to think about it, but if you already have a full yes in your body, I want to facilitate that by giving you this discount, and also by throwing in and sweetening the deal that you have something to do, so you're not just like sitting around till October 2nd is when the first module drops. So that'll kind of keep you busy and give you some things to think about having access to How to Flirt Like a Stripper. So if you have any questions, just pop a question mark in the comment section so I know to stay on for a couple more minutes while you type the full question up. Or if you're catching the replay, you can DM me, or you can also do that right now if you don't want to ask publicly. I will have my eye on my messenger and the comment section for the next couple of minutes. That'll kind of keep you busy and give you some things to think about having access. Okay. I just want to give you a quick reminder that I'll be going on live here on my personal Facebook account every day this week until Friday, each night at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. So if there are no questions tonight, I'm just going to sign off. And I'll see you tomorrow night for the next Turn On event. And that's when I will talk a little bit more about the Sexy Brain Gym, aka the masculine mindset training that we're going to be weaving into the Courtesan Queen this round. And I'll also give you a little sneak peek of the course itself. So thank you so much for joining me today. It was really gorgeous to have your energy with me live on the call. I really appreciate when people make time to do that. And I will see you tomorrow. Mwah! Have a great evening. Bye. Sending you lots of love.